Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Finding Steadiness in a Shaken World. This is a nice free offering here from Awake, Mindful Living, and I'm so happy to share it tonight. And we're just briefly going to introduce who you're going to get to meet tonight. Let's meet Maria first. Maria, if you could tell us a few things there's so much we could share about you, but what's like a few things you're really lit up about right now and sharing with the world?
Yeah, lit up and sharing with the world. Really feeling such a deep call to bring people into connection with the sacred ground below us, into connection with the earth and all that the earth provides us. Um, really called to bring people on pilgrimage again, in support of their reconnection with what is sacred around, and especially here on this earth. I mean, on this land here, uh, in the United States. So that's really what is alive for me right now.
Fantastic. And Maria's
Mhm.
a nature connected coach. She offers rites of passage all over the world and doing more here in the States because we need it to reconnect with to do rites of passage, reconnect with our land.
Yeah,
Uh, and I'm so honored to have you. Thanks, Maria. And, at
thank
the
you
end of the
for
call,
having us.
Maria's going to tell us about a peace walk that she's organizing this Saturday
Yeah,
right here in our
Saturday.
little town of Evergreen.
Mhm.
Cool. And everyone, love you to meet Reggie. I've known Reggie for years now. Yoga teacher, I believe, just named the top teacher in the U.S. by Yoga Journal. Pretty cool honor and well deserved for
Wild,
all the good he does in
wild,
the world. And
wild
I'll turn
shit.
it over to
Yeah.
Reggie to be humble.
Yeah, Eric, thank you for the invitation. Peace and blessing be with y'all. Eric was part of a community. I lived in Colorado for a very long time. I'm now dialing in from just outside of Washington, D.C., but Colorado is always close to my heart. And so there are two folks. So if Eric or Patrick Harrington reaches out to me, I'll always be like, what's going on? Because there is no yoga teacher of the year without the care and kindness, no pun intended, that y'all showed me in the nation stages of my practice. I am an activist. I'm a yoga and meditation practitioner that teaches sometimes. And what's alive for me now, I was hardwired for adversity, right? So dark times are my love language. And giving people the embodied wisdom that many of us have, but because of my melanated experience, black and brown people have been going through shit for quite some time. So hard times don't scare us as easily as it does other people. So it is
Mhm.
my blessing and pleasure to share wisdom from my life experience for the benefit of all beings.
Mm.
Thanks, Reggie. And you might hear from Reggie's awesome audio that we're going to have a sound healing later. And it sounds like your audio is ready to rock.
We're ready to
Sounds
share,
beautiful.
brother. Always ready to share.
Cool. Awesome. So you met our two presenters. I'm Erik with Awake Experience. I'm a therapist here in Evergreen, and my son was part of was there for the day of the Evergreen shooting. And tonight there's actually an active shooting that happened, and no one was hurt besides, unfortunately, the person who chose to do the shooting and end his own life. But it's just
Mhm.
like this is unfortunately common, and that's why we're doing this is to learn how to deal and change this world. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I'm all about is helping to bring peace and heal some minds. So we'll
Mhm.
turn it over to Maria
Mhm.
for a welcome prayer, and this is a
Thanks,
nice
Eric.
nice practice with Maria.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
And yeah, just inviting you right now, to arrive here in this place, in this moment, to gather yourself in a comfortable spot, whether it's on the ground or on a chair, um, and just arrive in your own body. You're welcome to close your eyes or keep them gently open, whatever is more comfortable for you. You're welcome to turn your video off too, if you prefer. Just in this place, in this moment, welcoming your breath as it just naturally flows in and out of your body, flowing in and out of your lungs. Feel your body supported by the earth, the earth as it welcomes you, like a mother holding her child on her lap. Feel those points of contact, the pressure places where your body meets the ground below you, and that ground that is supported by the earth, and all that is alive within that earth, all the beauty, the nutrients that is within this earth that gives us life and that holds us in all of our wholeness, in all of ourself. Welcome that sensation of your body as it touches the ground. And as you breathe, just scan your body for other sensations that might be calling your attention, especially with the news that we may have just heard. Perhaps there are sensations that are alive for you right now within your body. These might be tightness or constriction. It might be comfort or a jittery sensation. Place your hand on that sensation and with your voice within you, say to that sensation, welcome, welcome. You belong, welcome, welcome. Continue that natural breath, your natural breath, and feel into the quality of that sensation. Might it be sharp or soft, dull, hot? Imagine that the sensation has a shape, colors, edges. Take a moment to see it, see its shape, see its colors, see its edges. And again, breathing into it, welcome, welcome. As you continue to welcome this sensation, notice if it moves or changes shape or color, knowing that nothing is permanent, that all changes. Notice if the edges of this shape begin to soften and fade. And breathe a welcome into this softening. Gently let that shape and its colors settle and fade. And again, welcome, welcome. These sensations that arise in our body are our body's way of giving us important information, and take a moment to just thank your body for its wisdom. And just like the earth provides a safe and secure place for us, we too can provide a welcoming place for all of ourselves. Breathe into that welcoming space within you. Gaze at yourself with compassion and kindness. Take a few moments to feel that compassion and kindness towards you. And now with that same gaze of compassion and kindness, inviting you to gently come back to our group. And when ready, gently open your eyes, allowing light to filter in, coming back to here.
Thank you, Maria. Oh, maybe a little stretch like we do in the morning when we first get up. That really landed, Maria. Thank you. I wanted to help as many people as possible tonight, and everyone that's here is amazing. And I was hoping, hundreds of people would come for Reggie and you, and then that brought up that feeling of that I have this old familiar feeling of something's not quite good enough with me, And usually I would run from it or try to cover it up or go past it And I just felt it in my chest, and I said, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I just got this wave of it's perfect how it is tonight with everyone who's here. And this is so right. So thank you. And we will reach hundreds with the recording,
Erik, let
too.
me offer something quickly to that, brother. Like, I
Yeah.
come from a lineage where we acknowledge that the universe is in one being. So if only one person was here, we're speaking to the universe. So we're speaking to multiple universes contemporaneously, and whoever watches this on the recording. So not only is it perfect, it's universal, it's intergalactic, right? So numbers are a capitalist construction, brother. Like, infinity exists with you and me. So we're touching infinity in this present moment with love and grace. So be kind to yourself, baby.
Thank you, Reggie. So when the mind is calm, the world feels different. One of my favorite teachers, Thich Nhat Hanh. So tonight is just a chance for us all to pause and a space to arrive just as we are. Right there, that's my own medicine. An invitation to slow down together, which I'm already dropping into with that great opening meditation. So tonight we can just reconnect, be human, and meet this moment with love, I should say, instead of care, but care and love. All right. So I just want to normalize what many of us are feeling. I mean, do I even need to say it, right? This world is intense right now. And there's, I don't remember a time when I look back at history that it hasn't been waves of intensity. So it's normal. We're feeling overwhelmed, sometimes reactive. My wife, there's that active shooting that happened today. My son is safe. Everyone's safe overall. But my wife's first reaction was gun rights. We got to take the guns away. And yeah, of course, that's part of it. But there's something deeper going on here. I think we got to change some hearts and minds and go to the root of what's causing stuff like this to happen. I can't imagine that was a well-balanced, happy man that just did that thing tonight. So, and of course, our nervous systems feel anxious, frozen. The first time I heard about it was Sandy Hook. With the kids down there, I had a kid the same age, and I just jumped into response mode before I did my own healing, and I don't think my impact was as great as it could have been. And then I hate to keep talking about shootings, but I guess that's what's happening. And my son was at a school shooting here. He luckily snuck out for lunch. I was so happy that he broke the rules. I love my son for being a rule breaker, and he was at a friend's house, and they all just hung out and wrote it out. But just speaking to how that feels when your nervous system gets so activated. And as a therapist over the next couple of weeks, there were some therapists, some on this call, that the next day they were in action because their nervous system was ready. Like my friend Heather, who's here tonight, and I wasn't. And I took 3 days to sit on the couch, stay in my home, and be cozy with my family, and everyone feel safe. And then I was ready for action, and I was ready to serve my clients. And I'm really happy I'm learning to listen to my nervous system instead of being reactive. So just trying to share stuff that how human we all are for feeling these things. And of course, we never know how to respond, right? So that's why we're doing this stuff is as this stuff happens, we're going to get better and better at caring for our communities and ourselves. So that's the goal tonight. The core insight, this is from my Buddhist lineage, a lot of it, and just classic neuroscience, where stress and suffering actually begins. So suffering doesn't really start out there. It's these images come into our mind, this information comes into our mind, and then it hits our own nervous system. And that's when we feel overwhelmed and reactive. And that's why these practices we're going to share tonight are so important, because if you can come back to center sooner and be ready to serve and take good care of yourself, how great is that? So we have so much more, what's that word? Like not control, but efficacy. Like there is something you can do right away when something big happens. You can take care of your own self and calm down and settle and be ready and help. So that's just a little core insight tonight. So I'm so honored. I'd love to hear some words, Reggie. What you already taught me was words are being used right now in not good ways, and sometimes maybe just being in our bodies with music is good medicine. So take it away, Reggie.
Yeah, Erik, thank you again for the chance to be here. For those of you that are not muted, I would ask that you mute yourself. I don't want any I got beautiful instruments here, and if you're not muted, it'll reverb. It's like when like you're at a concert and it's like, I don't want y'all to have that experience. I want y'all to be at peace. I didn't come here to. We can't talk about nervous systems, and a hot mic gives you like ah. I'm not going out like that. So thank you in advance for muting. I live in Washington D.C., y'all. I'm 22 miles from the belly of the beast. And there are times when I ask myself often, why did I leave damn Colorado? I chose to come back to this. This is crazy. But the soul knows what it's doing. And the blessing of being so close to DC today is that I'm able to bring the peace of the monks that just left my state to go back to Texas. The 2,300 mile jaunt from Texas through the deep south to Washington ended in my part of the world today. Give thanks, right? These noble individuals who used mindful silence and Vipassana meditation to walk from Texas to Washington, showing the power of agency and intention in this moment. Right? Not all of us are venerable, though. So how do those of us that aren't venerable like that navigate this moment? I'm going to break it down quickly, and then I'm going to get into the sound. So there's a lot of noise going on, y'all. A lot of noise, whether it be blah, 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 people talking too much, or whether it be the news, even if it informs you, is spoken to you at such a cadence that you have no choice but to clench, right? No one's like, hey, oh, by the way, this is what's happening. It's like, oh, breaking, like breaking. The only thing breaking is good for is like bad habits, right? But any other circumstance, breaking is like alarming. So we live in a system that seeks to normalize alarm. And what I have learned in general, but most recently, y'all, I'm a stroke survivor. On April 1st, 2024, I almost left this plane, for real. And I was 49 when I had the stroke. How, you know what I mean? So I'm 51 now. And so I give thanks to the stroke because it reminded me, A, I'm not going to live forever, but B, the agency I have in creating conditions for my own healing. And what I learned in the stroke experience is that noise is killing me. However, sound is nourishing, right? And you can go from stressed the hell out to peaceful as quick as that. And when we talk about the nervous system, I think it's important to remember that the nervous system does not speak English. The nervous system does not speak Spanish. The nervous system speaks in impulse and vibration. And the incessant pulsation of coarsening vibrations is shrinking us. But when given the opportunity, when the nervous system hears something that's its native language, body's like, what? So as I play these sounds for you, I encourage you to move the body fluidly. I encourage you to soften and close your eyes and get into a orientation that has nothing to do with sight. We are being fed poison in our eyes, so give the eyes a bit of a break if that's comfortable for you. So give the eyes a bit of a break, tune down the noise, enjoy the sacred sound. I'll play for about 4 minutes. I'm not going to take too much time because I don't need to, but allow these sounds to repair your nervous system quickly and lovingly. Exhale with a sound. Deep in through the nose. Exhale with a sound. Enjoying the silence in between these instruments that I played. Noticing that the only thing that changed was the stimulus that your ears received. So shifting from a sound bowl to a couple of these gongs. I'm going to sing these two gongs like cellos. When I play them, it sounds like monks chanting to me. So enjoy the experience. Placing one hand on heart, one hand on abdomen. And noticing the shift in your body. Your hands are probably softer and you're like, how are my hands softer right now? But noticing the impact of sound, not just on the mind and the quality of thought, but on the body and the quality of energy. And I played for 4 minutes. So releasing the hands from the body, let's take 2 clearing breaths and 1 quick sequence to get us back into the body. So deep inhale through the nose. Exhale with a sound. Deep in through the nose. This time exhale with a song like la. Because we can still sing in hard times, y'all. Just because it's dark outside, don't birds sing in the dark. Why can't humans? Right? So bring palms together, create friction in the palms, not just to feel it, but to hear it. Notice the awakened sense of sound, the awakened sense of touch, which is the key to full embodiment. Less eyes, more feeling and sound. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Hands on the heart. Notice how the heart may have shifted simply by hearing better sound. Feel into the heart space, the heartbeat. Feel into the emotional state and welcome whatever emotions are there with the space created by beautiful sound. Remove hands from the heart one more time. Friction in the palms. Listen to this though. This sound is nectar for your nervous system. This awakens parasympathetic response. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the lips like someone just told you a lie to your face. What? And take hands to the face. Allow the jaw to feel the blessing of your tender touch. Allow the undersides of your eyes to know that I care for you. Allow the temples of an overactive mind to be massaged by your fingers that are softer and kinder. Release hands from the face, open eyes if they've closed. Welcome back, dear ones.
Thank you, Reggie. I feel called to give a shout out to a place called Rhythm Sanctuary here in Colorado. If you can ever attend, it's Thursday nights, and sometimes they bring in the live instrumentation. But it's just a chance to be quiet and enjoy the amazing sonic landscape and dance and get in your body. And that really reminded me of that. And then this Saturday night after the Peace Walk, same day as the Peace Walk this Saturday, Nolan Shaber is doing a full sound bath. So you just got in 4 minutes. It's over an hour, and you walk out you couldn't feel better in your nervous system. And you just lie there and receive. How nice is that? And that's at Gather Yoga this Saturday night. Yeah. Cool. So just a little short teaching pieces. We're going to leave plenty of time at the end for conversation and questions and answers. And before I move on, actually, if you want to put in the chat how you're feeling just after 4 minutes of sound, and maybe Reggie or Maria could read it out if it comes into the chat, because I'm looking at these slides. But let us know how you're feeling. We'd love to hear from you if you want. I know I'm feeling within 4 minutes just more in my body. And also I feel like a hangover, I'd call it, like all the stress that's still in my body, I'm still conscious of it in my jaw and stuff, but somehow I feel relieved, and I sense if I did this more, that wouldn't build up so much in my nervous system. Yeah. And in the chat, let's see, connected, relaxed, and Nolan, thanks for the sound. Yeah, that's my buddy who's doing a sound healing this Saturday at Gather. Yeah. I'm sure he'll be asking Reggie how to make it sound so good online.
It's solidarity, Nolan. Holler at me for whatever, bro. I got you.
Cool. So just a little tool here. I'm only going to do one, and we're going to let Reggie and Maria take it in from here. But this is just something I heard at a Buddhist teaching. It was a week after the school shooting, and one of my Buddhist teachers gave us this great analogy. She said, so imagine you're driving to work and you hit that same pothole, right? And you, if you want to, you can be negative and say, oh, why does the county not fix that pothole, right? You can really focus on that. You can even get to work and talk about, oh man, the county doesn't do the right thing and I'm hitting these potholes. But she did some math. She's like, this Buddhist is a math geek, and I don't have it memorized, but she said, if you think about the millions of miles of road, or hundreds of thousands of miles of road that are beautiful, they just redid I-70 heading into Denver. It's so smooth. And she says, all right, if you want to complain about the challenge or the bad part, open your eyes and look at how much good there is as well. And that really landed for me. And I swear, right tonight when there was this lockdown with my son and there's this shooting happening, thank God everyone's safe besides the shooter. But that just took me off a little into my heart with that. Even the person that's sick enough to do something like that, I can feel compassion for, because how, right. But just in the moment when that happened tonight, think of probably thousands of women having beautiful, healthy babies, for example. I mean, we have to balance our minds and not just focus on the bad stuff, because I swear it must be mostly good. All right. So I'm going to turn it over to Reggie for media and the nervous system. And I've been dying to learn to manage this news thing.
Yeah, Erik, thank you. And thank you all for the comments in the chat about the sound. Like, I would love to have played. If I had played any longer, you all would have gone to sleep, honestly, because like I did a retreat this weekend where I had 15 black men at one Palestinian brother at Kripalu in Massachusetts, which is not terribly diverse. And I played these gongs, and they were asleep in 7 minutes. Right? They were like, what happened? I was just like, the wizard has done his thing. So, media and the nervous system. If you all remember nothing else from spending time with me, I want you to remember the following sentence. There's a difference between attention and awareness. Like, not everything merits your attention. there are things that you need to be aware about, but awareness and doom scrolling are not the same thing. Like awareness and binge watching is not the same thing. As I said, I live in Washington, D.C. Do you know how often I watch the news? I don't. Why? Because I got friends that I can call. I work in politics, so to some extent, the news will find me. I don't need to watch it necessarily. And I pay attention on the thing like I told you. So, Washington has lost its mind. Y'all don't need my help to understand that. If it even had its mind, let's be honest, to some extent. But I was aware of all the stuff that was happening in Washington. But if you look into your picture, you may not be able to discern all of it, but do you see all those happy faces? That got my attention.
Yes.
Of course, I'm aware of what's going on, but this got my attention. And because that got my attention, 15 people had breakthroughs in their lives, and the world is still worlding, and all these things are still happening. So giving ourselves the grace to watch the news, get enough, and the second if you're watching the news like this, I would tell you to not watch it because your body is already recoiled. If you can watch the news like this, go for it. But watching it like this, your body is telling you something and you ain't paying attention, right? So with respect to the media, social media, traditional media, those sorts of things, the teaching I have for you here is the difference between awareness and attention, right? So awareness, it is to not be aware is to spiritually bypass. So to be aware is your duty as an engaged human being, especially if you hold these spiritual practices. These spiritual practices require you to bear witness. You do not bear witness by going like this, right? I used to work for Move On, and in the first American experimentation, whatever the hell is happening in Washington, D.C., I bore witness to children in these camps. I stood across the street with people from Homeland Security pointing guns at me, telling me not to come closer. I was like, I'm not stupid, but you can't tell me not to look at this. I'm looking at this. Because if I do not bear witness to this, who is speaking for them? I was an advocate at the time. Like, who speaks for them if I don't bear witness? But on the other side of that, I took 1,000 hours of yoga and meditation training while doing that job. Because to bear witness, I had to equip myself with wisdom practices and discernment and, right? So it's a both and situation. If you give yourself the tools of attention to your family, creating community, as Erik talked about, focusing your attention on that one pothole near Capitol Hill, and you don't see the wholly refurbished I-70. I lived in Denver off and on for 15 years. I-70 was messed up for 2 decades, and you're telling me it's clean now? Come on, man. Maria, okay. Well, I remember potholes that you could pay rent in, So that's the key for me. Like, it's as simple as knowing that you have to know what's going on. But knowing what's going on like this, what are you doing? Right? You're increasing the cortisol level, you're increasing hormones in your body that make you not only sick, but just tight. And when you do these things, you're like, oh, so for instance, I see something coming in on the TV and like, oh, they're speaking again. Same old deal. Got it. So aware, but it doesn't deserve my attention. So I'll leave it there. And I hope if you have any questions for me, I'd love to take them about. But if not,
Reggie, can I throw a quick piece in?
Yeah.
This one really hits home. So it was a beautiful day. I was outside my office. Sometimes I get to do Zoom with my clients, my therapy clients, and I love it. I think it helps them too, the beautiful background of the trees. And all of a sudden I hear an ambulance go by, and then a police car, and all of a sudden there's more and more of them, and there ended up being like 40 or 50.
Oh, wow.
And it hit my heart that they're heading towards my son's high school.
Something's going down, right?
Yeah, and just the point being, in that moment, it had all my attention.
Totally.
And my son called from his friend's basement right next to the school, told me he was safe, and then I was on it. I'm texting all the parents I know, just sharing information. But I'll tell you what happened. A couple days later, I found myself giving my attention to the retelling of that story in the news media. And I was getting sicker and sicker, and my nervous system was getting worse and worse. And my job as a therapist is to help all these people that are traumatized by this. And I shut it off because I knew what happened. So is that what we're saying? The difference between I gave it my attention until I did it.
Correct.
And then I put my attention on service.
Absolutely. Right. So it is that. And, kudos to you for that discernment, right? Like, because we all fall prey to, oh man, blah, 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 blah. Like, am I telling this to inform, or I'm telling this out of necessity to discharge my angst? Right. Yep. So if you're telling to inform, that's wise speech. If you are telling it, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you're spitting your poison into someone else's nervous system, and that's not very kind, first of all. But second, it's not very, it's not good for you either. And so if you haven't read the points here, just remember this in terms of the media, especially now. The media and the brain have a negativity bias, meaning if the only thing you hear is negative, that's all you're going to look for. So, and the media outlets know this. They're not like, oh man, look, puppies. Like, no one's doing that. Or, oh my God, cute kids and the sunrise. No one's doing that, really. It's always a breaking this, and then this, and then, and then. And it's meant to hook you and bring you in. We have to remember our agency. So sometimes, that's why sound is important, because if you notice yourself getting latched in, you can just kind of be like, hold up. No. They had me for 10 seconds and I'm done. And lastly, the more, I have to know everything about this story. No, you don't. More intake of the same media or the recitation of a story does not make it more clear. It just reinforces like negative neurological patterns.
Right on.
And I'd love to add just a little something here also, is that it takes the way that we're wired. Our brains are very quick to take in negative information, right? Because it's the way that we evolved. It's the way we kept ourselves safe, right? Scanning for the danger, right? Scanning for what might be there to impact us. And so we take in negative information very quickly. But to take in positive information takes a lot longer for your brain to actually register what is good and beautiful. I had my son and daughter-in-law here after Christmas, and I've had a bit of a contentious relationship, with my daughter, and it's all me. It's me projecting on my daughter-in-law all these things that are not true. And while she was here, my partner Jonathan kept telling me, "Take it in, Maria. Take it in. Let the positive come in. Feel it, receive it, be with it." And so that is a conscious thing that we get to do, is we need to observe the beautiful. We need to walk with the beauty in an intentional and conscious way. So I just wanted to add that.
Totally.
Thanks, Maria. And everyone on the call, feel free to put anything in the chat that you like, and we will move on to the next slide. And this one's for Reggie, but I'll just start with a quick, what this is all about from my perspective is us being regulated and in a good spot inside. We're just one cell within this huge body of humanity. And that's just my little take on this. But Reggie, I would love to hear more from you on this.
Yeah, so when I told you I worked in politics at the height of the first experience with this white administration. And one of the best compliments I got was from Sister Ayanna Presley. And I'm not sure what you know about Ayanna, but Ayanna doesn't suffer no fools. And she's quick to tell you about yourself. And Ayanna came up to me one day and was like, Reggie, I need to tell you something about you. So you can imagine, I was like, oh shit. Like, what did I do wrong? I thought, I thought I got back to you, blah, blah, blah. So there are all these stories in my head of what I did wrong. And y'all know what she told me? She was like, brother, I gotta compliment you because you are so cool and peaceful. When you walk into these meetings on Capitol Hill, the blood pressure drops. And I was like, oh my God. Like, so I didn't say this to her, but you all, like, among this community, I was like, I had all these damn stories in my head about how terrible I was and blah, 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 blah. And she gives the yogic meditator the best compliment you could possibly give someone. Like, your energy is so grounding among these crazy fools up here. You bring us all down. And I mentioned that story because one dude at deep peace walked into a shitstorm, and these people were just like, what's that? So because we're all interconnected, because we are all individual representations of the infinite, when I heal myself, I'm not just healing me. When I tend to my nervous system, I'm not just helping me out. Like, me tending to my nervous system is when someone, when they cut me off in traffic, instead of me giving them the double barrel salute, being like, you're number one twice, like, if I tended to my nervous system, just like, maybe you got some stuff to do, man. Like, maybe you, like, go ahead, take the space, right? So that kindness, we don't know how that's going to impact them. So the more we give to ourselves, the more we ground in peace, the more we ground in community, it can have no other impact than to be of benefit to the whole. Conversely, if we are jacked up, we're throwing that on other people. If we're dysregulated, the whole thing I'm trying to say here is this: do not discount the impact of one well-regulated and grounded being on the ecosystem. There's such power in embodied peace that it is a disruption to the conditioning of chaos. And grounding yourself is not selfish. Taking care of yourself is foundational. When taking care of yourself becomes an excuse for not connecting with someone, that's avoidance, that's aversion. And we know from Buddhist practice that's one of the poisons, right? So taking care of yourself to nourish, then look outward, awesome. Taking care of yourself, and then, no, I'm gonna be all right. I'm taking care of myself. Like, that becomes a learned behavior of detachment, which doesn't help the community. So,
Thanks, Reggie. It reminds me of mirror neurons. I guess
yeah,
there's something in our brain
totally.
where we feel each other. I guess that's how we have empathy. In my therapy office all the time, it's amazing that mirroring that happens. Someone comes in, their nervous system's all activated. I just sit back in my chair, drop my shoulders, slow my speech, slow my breathing, and it's unbelievable how they can't help but co-regulate.
Absolutely. Because we're connected, like, even in that nebulous level.
Right on. Thank you. All right. So regulation before action. Why grounding comes before action. So presence comes before action. Listening comes before doing. Wise action arises from steadiness, not urgency. So Maria, Reggie, something in the last slide we didn't cover that feels alive here? I mean, I know it's all about not being reactive. Like, I know even with my wife, right here in my own home, she says that one thing that hits my nervous system, the last thing I want to do is react from that space inside, because that's never going to be skillful. So me always establishing presence. Now I know there's a thing that happens between her eyebrows. If I see that, I know it's time to pause. And something I do, I don't know if this applies. Yeah, jading. Justify, argue, defend, explain. Whenever I see myself doing that, I realize it's about me, not her. and I'm learning to slow down and love her better. And I guess that on the micro level applies to the macro when Reggie walks into this intense kind of room, and how you walk in matters.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of that, so the word that's coming up for me right now is curiosity. You know, when we have that feeling of reactivity within us, it's that looking within and listening and going within with curiosity. Like, why is that there? What's going on within me that this is coming up for me right now? This sensation, this feeling, this emotion, this tightness, this constriction, whatever that is, or this feeling of warmth and love, the curiosity, though, to go within, to explore and ask those questions of ourselves and notice. But I think, it's in that noticing and that being with all that is, where then we have that sense of presence, that we're walking with all of ourselves and holding ourselves with that curiosity. So just wanted to mention that word curiosity that's coming up for me.
This
Thanks.
brings to mind a story that my grandfather. So, when you're younger and your parents tell you stuff, at first you roll your eyes, and you're like, "Yo, this is the most amazing thing." Like, I'm at that phase of my life where I'm like, "Yo, my grandfather and my father were pretty wise men." My grandfather used to say, "Reggie, he would point to my eyes. You got two of these. Then he would point to my ears. You got two of those. And he point to your mouth. You got one of those. You're good with your fractions, aren't you? Use proportions." I was like, whoa. And that's always stuck with me, right? So it has allowed my disposition to be like, before I speak or do anything, I look and I listen. And what that does from a neurological perspective, it engages more than one part of your brain. And the more parts of your brain, again, trust the stroke survivor, like the more parts of your brain that are engaged, the healthier your brain. If it's just stuff that you see, you can't always trust what you see. Like, if it's just what you hear, you can't always trust what you hear. But like seeing, hearing, feeling, thinking, then acting, usually in that process, discernment arises. And from discernment and spaciousness comes wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have you, Reggie, and Maria, both of you organize and are part of all kinds of peaceful activism. So I'm so curious, when people go to a rally with a dysregulated nervous system, and you see the anger on their faces, and you see those angry signs. I've always been curious, like, does that make an impact, or that can't be right? That's what I want to ask. How is that helpful to add more fire to it? Is it always the best way to walk peacefully and to show up in that space? Or,
I'll say briefly, anger has its place. Right, anger definitely has its place. Like, this isn't a political statement, it's a spiritual statement. Like, if you are not angry when you look out and see what's happening in the world, and remember, visceral sadness is the cousin of anger, right? So like to me, like, anger and sadness are close cousins. So like, if you have an emotional reaction to what's happening, hooray, that means that you care. Right, and we live in a world where care is not necessarily normalized. So one of the tricks that I do for folks is, I was on this call yesterday, so one of my jobs, the beauty of being hardwired for adversity is that I've got tremendous job security, and I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek. But I talked to a lot of activist groups, and they were like, "We're outraged," and I feel like the old dude in the corner. I was like, and the outrage is going toward what? We're so pissed. I'm like, we understand that. So how are you going to use the precious resource of your anger to channel toward what aim? And so that's the frame that I like to try and offer.
Yeah, and I want to add to that. Right on. I think that anger is actually, there's so much energy in that emotion that can propel you forward.
Totally.
It can take you out of a place of stuckness. So, there is a place for honoring anger, for honoring pain, for honoring grief. As you said, so the flip side, right, of grief is great love. The flip side of anger is a desire for justice. It's the feeling of injustice that creates that anger, and that anger can drive us uh, when when we're channeling it into into wise action, into creating beloved community. But we feel, we're humans, right? We have a tenderness inside of us. We're tender beings with a tender heart, especially when our heart is open. And when our heart is open, we're going to feel everything that is natural for our body to feel. And anger, grief, sadness, these are all natural emotions that tell us, pay attention, pay attention. There's something here that you need to look, you need to watch out for, and move into action, into
Absolutely.
that creative space, right? That creative space where you can plant the seeds. You're tilling the soil. What are you going to plant now? Um, so,
What I tell my
it,
activist folks is that investing anger in more anger, you're burning down your house, right? But if you invest your anger toward a goal, that's the nitrous in your car, right? It gets you to the destination that you seek, probably faster and more efficiently than just hoping to get there. If you pissed, you know what I mean. You're like, we're doing this and we're doing this way, cool. But if you're just using anger to create more anger, that's a diminishing return with often destructive consequences.
exactly. And I think that when we're not using our anger to propel us into, at least for me, creating beloved community, um, I'm just going to be stuck. I'm going, who am I going to be? What's going to be, um, so I've been using that energy, that powerful energy, um, to work and to volunteer and be of service um, for the world that I want to see in the future. So,
Amen.
Thanks, Maria. Well, I'm proud of myself. I left plenty of time for just conversation here tonight. I didn't try to squeeze too much stuff in. So at this time, I'd love to hear from people on the call right now, and put it in the chat or just start talking. We just want to connect and use a little time to see how we can feel good inside while helping this world, or maybe not even feel good inside sometimes. And at Naropa, they train me to count to 7, so someone will say something within 7 counts usually. We'll see.
Well, I'll begin with a question. Um, for those of for anyone not named Reggie, Eric, or Maria, how is what has been shared with you landing with you? Right? Like, you picking up what we putting down? You think we're full of it? What's going down? Like, tell me something.
I'll go ahead and speak. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Sweet. So my name is Brandon, and I guess I've been meditating for 10 years or something. And I don't know if anyone's truly proficient at it, but I feel pretty good. Uh, when you guys were talking about anger, one thing that stuck with me and does stick with me is that anger has always been like the check engine light for me. If I ever have anger, there's always something my inner child is pointing like, hey, I need awareness here. I need you to look at me. As opposed to like exploding outward, I usually go inward. And I try, at first it was shame, like I'm mad at myself and blah, blah, blah. But I think with meditation and with doing the practice, anger it's truly a point of where to go. It tells me where to go. So that was just something I would add.
Yeah, I'm curious for feedback from the group or what you guys think of this, but I've always heard anger is an umbrella emotion. And Reggie, you kind of said this, but underneath the anger, is there some benefit to getting through the anger to the more root emotion? to act from there? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would say that adopting the frame of anger being a guide as opposed to the end all. So anger shows up, be like, anger, what you trying to tell me, fam? You know what I mean? So like, I have that relationship with my anger and grief. When they show up, I'm like, hey man, what's good? Like, what you about to tell me though? You know, as opposed to, oh shit, what are you doing here? I'm like, you showed up, so oh my god, like you got something to tell me. So when anger shows up, giving it space, being like, okay, so anger, I receive you with the reverence that you require. What you trying to tell me? You know, anger is your friend. Grief is your friend. Like, they are tools. Anger, as Maria talked about, especially from an activist perspective, anger is the thing that fuels your work towards dismantling injustice, right? Right. Apathy never took down the status quo. Anger turned into wise action yields that, right? And grief, for me, oh man, I'll make this quick. I told y'all I had a stroke. So when you have a near-death experience in your body, I cannot tell you the fear that becomes your norm. Um, when I had this stroke, I was so vulnerable about it. I was just like, hey, look, the yoga teacher, like the wellness dude, almost died yesterday. I need your help. And I'm afraid. And what that did is it gave people an opportunity to be of support. It gave me a chance to relax into the kindness of strangers. And most importantly, it has made me fearless. Y'all, I went 3 months ago to the place where I had my stroke. I had my stroke in a hotel in Columbia, South Carolina. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina on a trip, and I went to South Carolina because I was like, it's only 90 minutes. So something came up in me and was just like, the place where you had the stroke is only 90 minutes away. And I was like, we're going to look at it. And then as I'm driving there, I'm like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Like, oh my God, like you're kind of foolish. But that fearlessness, guess what no longer haunts me anymore?
That
That
place.
stroke.
Oh, that stroke. Okay.
The stroke. Right. The stroke is my friend. The stroke is my teacher. The stroke gave me boundaries. I was eating terribly and not resting. My body was like, yo, what are you doing, man? We've been trying to get your attention, but you wasn't listening. So now when the body is like, Mr. Hubbard, I'm like, yes. Right. I wouldn't have that wisdom absent that experience. So the anger and the grief of that experience has made me more attuned to my needs, but also the necessity of being connected to other people.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're not waiting for the nervous system to yell at me, is what I'm learning. And if I can catch it at the whisper, woo, it's fantastic.
It's like
The
whisper
anger
the
that
clearing of the throat and then look out.
I was just going to share the anger of the injustice that is going on. I feel, and then for me going out and being with other people in a protest, active kind of way is a supportive kind of thing to be around other people that see the injustice and are emotionally affected by it as well. And we both really want a better world and a better country right now.
Well, that's Janet. Thank you so much. That's I'm going to skip a slide ahead, and then we'll go back to the closing with you, Maria. But the peace walk that we're doing this Saturday, that's what inspired this Zoom tonight. So, Maria, do you want to tell us a little bit about the peace walk this Saturday?
Yeah, I'd love to. I would love to share about the Peace Walk this Saturday. So what's interesting is that, so I'm a walking guide. I guide people on walks, right? And contemplative walks, prayer walks, nature connection walks, you name it. Um, and so probably like I've been just feeling this urge that we need to go and walk with reverence and walk with love. And that's what the world right now is asking of us, is to be in connection, in communion with all of the beings. And so a couple of months ago, I was talking to a friend. I said, I really want to organize a peace walk. And this friend of mine said, well, have you heard about the monks? I've been following the monks. I'm like, what monks?
Oh,
And so this is, it's in the field, right? And it's this spirit moving through all things, calling us um, into into action, calling us into reverence, calling us into love. And so that's kind of what inspired this. And then also, um, I I love Joanna Macy, and um, for those of you who don't know, I mean, Joanna Macy was an um, eco spirituality, depth psychology, Buddhist, and she coined this phrase of active hope. And active hope is the idea of envisioning the future that we desire, and then taking those concrete steps to get there. Kind of what we've been talking about is, what is that future that we are longing for? And how do we take the steps to get there? So this walk is all about active hope, about planting those seeds, planting them with our feet, planting them with our bodies, and moving towards that beloved community that what we want to create. And so it's going to be a walk where we are engaging in walking meditation. We'll have some poetry. We'll have opportunities for some conversation and a lot of choice into walking in silence. We'll do a loving kindness meditation, and then also, again, walk with those intentions of those seeds that we want to plant, that we want to nurture in order to create the beloved community that we want. And this is ripe because the earth right now, all of the stuff that's going on right now, it's like it's churning the soil, and it's creating now the conditions for planting what we want. And so that's kind of the point of this. So that's what we're doing,
great.
and excited about it.
I'll be there.
Great. I can't help but think, Reggie, is it cool if we're one of your pods? Like when you come out here, we're all set and ready to welcome you to be part of to inspire us.
I'm into that, brother. I'm into that.
So we'll build the pod. We're your Colorado connection.
Let's go.
And I have to promote my buddy Nolan, who's on this call. He has a hand pan, and it's absolutely beautiful. I don't know if there's a time, Maria, at all, but I don't know if it could work, but his hand pan is gorgeous. I'll connect you guys.
Absolutely. It's a collaborative experience here. So,
Awesome.
yes, all is possible.
Cool. And then if anything resonated tonight, I just want to give you some ways to get some support on your path. Just a gentle offering. I'm a therapist. If you ever want some love, just hit me up. And then I have a course that you can do online that we're doing right now with 9 weeks with people working on nervous system regulation and helping us to be more peaceful and showing up in our community. And then I offer a quarterly retreat. So the next one's in April, and you'll get an email about that. But more importantly, let's practice what I'm preaching here and wrap up. Well, unless there's any last minute shares from anyone in our group tonight, I would hand it over to Maria to walk us out. Yeah.
Okay.
I could feel I'm going fast because I'm excited about being with you guys.
So as we close, one, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but this idea of gratitude is so foundational to sourcing ourselves, supporting ourselves. Reggie talked about vibration earlier, and the vibration of gratitude, of the feeling of gratitude within us, is one of the highest types of vibrations that we can experience. And so what I invite you now is we're going to do a little gratitude wonder inside your own home. Inside, usually I do these outside in nature, but we are surrounded by nature. We are surrounded by the earth. Everything around you comes from the earth. And so I invite you, if you want to turn your video off, I want you to stand up. You're going to walk around. And again, just as you're comfortable, you can do the sitting down too if you prefer to sit. But turn your videos off if you want, or leave them on, doesn't matter. And I want you to take a moment to right now close your eyes and feel yourself in your space. Connect with your breath again as it flows in and out of your lungs. Perhaps you hear the sound of your breath as it comes in and out of your nostrils. Maybe you can feel the rhythm of your heart and feel the sensations of your feet as they touch the ground below you. And just taking one more breath in this way, feeling the sounds within you. Gently begin to open your eyes, allowing light to gently filter in. And I want you to begin to gaze around you as if this was the very first time that you have ever opened your eyes. Gazing at the world like a newborn. All is new. All is filled with wonder. You are curious about what is around you. And I invite you now to begin to walk around your environment and touch everything. Gaze at the patterns and the textures of everything around you. Touch it, feel it. And realize that everything around you comes from the earth. Everything around you was part of nature at one point. Everything around you is a gift from the earth. And spend some time right now gazing with gratitude, touching with gratitude, with an internal thank you to the earth that has provided all of this for you. Gratitude for the function that these items have in your life and the comfort that they provide you. Gazing with new eyes, those newborn eyes, at everything around you. Take a turn around your room with that sense of awe, wonder, and gratitude. And when ready, make your way back to your chair. Gratitude for the comfort of your chair. Gratitude for this technology that again is brought to us from the earth. And when ready, just join us back here. And I'd love to end, if everyone can turn on their videos again. And let's end with just this gaze of love, compassion, and gratitude for each and every one of us for coming here and joining us today.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for
Thank
making
you.
the time, Maria and Reggie, and everyone who attended tonight. Look forward to deeper connection, maybe in the real world.
Oh man, that would be awesome, right? Thank you so much. So much fun. I hope to see some of you. Hey, Reggie, just come on over on Saturday. Fly on over.
I'll be in Colorado soon for sure.
Awesome.
Well, Thank you so much, Erik, for putting this together.
Peace
Okay.
and love to all.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Thanks, Reggie. Thanks, Maria.